glow, coffee cold, minds woke, 2 mics, 1 code, yeah, yeah. Scrolling through the chaos, headlines loud, hearts numb, then I hear that drip talk. Cutting through the hum, gem with the side eye, true stain with the data in his cup. They don't just gas up dreams, they show you how to level up. Oh, from the hustle to the headlines, from the culture to the grind. Every angle, every timeline, they lace and never waste your time. Welcome to the Daily Drip, let it run, let it run, let it hit. Oh, tech and politics, stacking common sense, turn it up, feel it in your chest, clicking, let your future flip like describe your own ascent, every gem, every take, every tip, yeah. Oh, yeah. They make it make sense, yeah. Thumb tied from the doom feed, faith in rent thick, algorithm playing mind games, selling you the same quick fix, then I catch that real talk about credit scores and crypto slips. Union fights and AI rights, and why your boss be talking slick. Left lane, right lane, truth rise in the same frame. If it's cap, they call names. If it's facts, they fan flames. Oh yeah. Welcome to the Daily Drip. Let it run, let it run, let it run, let it hit. Tech and politics, stacking common sense, turn it up, feel it in your chest, clicking. Let your future flip like subscribe to your own ascent. Every gem, every take, every tip, yeah. They make it make sense, yeah. From your psychic to your 9 to 5, from the group chat to the bottom line. There's a late night guide through the glitch and grind. If you listen close, you gon' change your life, change your life. Welcome to the Daily Drip. Let it run, let it run, let it run, let it hit. Hey, tech and politics, stacking common sense, turn it up, feel it in your chest, dig in. Let your future flip like subscribe to your own ascent. Every gem, every take, every tip, our daily drip. They make it make
PlayStation, all that shit.
Welcome to our Daily Drip Show. I am your co-host, Jim Jones. Welcome to Late Night Drip Friday nights. Happy y'all dripping with us, I Squad. And along with me is my co-host. Yeah, thank you so much, y'all. But along with me is my co-host, Plain Dame. Say hello to the people.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Daily Drip Show. Happy Friday, people.
All right. Yeah. So y'all know we in here, our Daily Drip. We're gonna give y'all a little bit of politics news and some things that are just relevant today. So listen, we give you where the facts clock in, the spin clocks out, and the headlines file for unemployment. What am I talking about? Y'all know we talk about all things for America and outward. Today we got a little bit of America, got a little bit of Canada, we got a little bit of the Middle East. Drip with us. If you have not hit that like button, go ahead and do that. It's free, don't cost you nothing. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're a little bit, you don't know if you want to, you don't know if you're gonna do it yet, just stick around so we can tell you. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you like it and check out the socials below. I think that's all the housekeeping. Did I leave anything out, y'all?
Okay. Oh, you got it. And stop being a hater. That was it. No reason for joining if you're not going to subscribe. I mean, you're a hater if that's the case. But it's all love. We still enjoy your company either way.
And in the background, you're going to hear the producer. Shout out to Cassius Pay. Before we go on, because y'all know he be giving me a hard time about how I just forget about him. I'm not forgetting about you. Shout out to Cassius Pay, making things nice in the background. See the smile. Say,
what up? All right.
That's it.
Let's get this show on the road.
Okay, so we're gonna do something a little bit different. Typically, I start off with the mess going on with President Trump, first of all, as we said before, we could do a ton of stuff around President Trump. We'll get to that in a minute. Everything going on with the administration. But first, we're going to talk about an Ohio proposed law that aims to protect officials on military deployment. Y'all hear about this yet? If you're not from Ohio, you might not even know nothing about it. But listen, long story short, there was, let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit more so y'all can y'all see better? Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, so Ashley McTaggart was elected to the public school district of Parma. Parma is a suburb of Cleveland, in case you don't know where that is. And so she previously served in the Air Force for the medic for 7 years, as I said. Then she was deployed overseas. Essentially, what happened was they said, "You go over there, you ain't got no job." And she like, "What you mean I don't got no job?" They're like, "Yeah, you ain't got no job. You ain't here a certain amount of time. We can't hold your job." Now, the law in Ohio currently says they shall be present in person at a meeting open to the public to be considered present or to vote at the meeting. And it said a failure to attend at least 3/5 of the meetings over 2 years or a 90-day absence means that you can lose your role. It says in there too that military deployment is not explicitly listed as a reason to vacate a seat, leaving the board in a legally ambiguous position. So basically what they're saying is, we understand that you are serving our country, but who gonna do this job while you gone?
They say you better serve your damn self too while you at it.
Wow.
Yeah, like you ain't got no job. Basically, that's what's going on. And so, long story
Like,
short,
you chose that job. Like, really? Is that what?
Yeah. Right.
Ain't
so
nobody tell you to go there.
Thank you for sacrificing for the country, but what about the company? Like,
Right.
damn.
So
You can hold my
typically,
position.
when you talk about protected classes for like FMLA and stuff like that, I'm trying to make sure I get the actual documentation up there so I can share that with y'all. I meant to have that up there. So it does not explicitly mention deployment policies, but it does have protection for employees who are called to cover active duty status due to military service. So here's the thing. They're trying to propose new legislation because we want people to serve the country, right? We want people to know that we appreciate that they serve the country. That law, the way that it's currently written, does not give that. Drop some drip in the comments. Do you think that that's fair? Do you feel like since your job, you can't just take off 90 days because you got, whatever going on? Or do you feel like we should treat our service members better? Ohio was trying to update, modify this law to kind of accommodate that more. My main thing is, I think it's wild and it doesn't make sense why we didn't start off like that. Why would we not protect people who are willing to sacrifice their mind, body, livelihood, like everything? Like, why would we not just allow her the opportunity to come back? I don't understand. Go ahead, Cash that.
No, so I wanted to gain clarity. So was this for reserves or was this for active duty?
Oh, let me go back. Sorry, I got out of it. She is a reservist.
Okay, so that's
But
the
she
2
was,
weeks.
but the key is that she was deployed overseas.
Okay,
So,
yeah. So
and it
you
said the board has
technically
not
went in
has
after
to
duty.
yet to decide if she will continue to hold her position, despite and she was saying she could virtually attend, and they like, nah, you gotta be in person, baby. What?
So this ain't no
And this
hybrid
is for,
position.
and it's for she's the school district board of education. It doesn't tell me what she was elected to. But she's
Well, I mean, you on the board, then
school
you on the board. We'll just
That's
say
it. That's it. And then you were elected, meaning people voted for you to be in that position. And then you was like, yeah, let me get up out of here. I
that.
gotta
Go in
go.
the house. I say, shut your mouth.
Dog
Go in
Joe.
the house.
I gotta go lend my services to our country. I'll be right back. They said, hell no.
Now I'm gonna show you, but I'm gonna show you what sis look like. Okay, now let me show you what she looked like. Tell me that they might not just be hating on her though.
Oh, she doing TikToks while she overseas?
I'm just saying, like she's pretty. You know what I'm saying? If this is the same, this is the same lady right here. It's her. She's a wife and a mother. You know, so she's a pretty girl. So I mean, could it be a little bit of? Oh, and
she don't look like a Parma. She got
no, she don't. Yeah, right. That's a Barbie. That's a Barbie right. Girl in the Barbie world, right there.
Right. That's too much of a glow up for Parma now.
But wait a minute. So her military, she was medic, which makes sense, right?
Okay.
And Air Force.
Right.
So it makes sense.
Air Force too.
Like maybe she.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And she's also a licensed practical nurse, and she's executive director of an assisted living and memory care community.
Okay, she got to get into the bag.
She gonna, man, what?
More specifically, with her husband, they established a small business with this LLC.
Yeah, she already got to the bag. She got caught up in the deployment.
That's what it was.
Is. My question to you is,
there's a couple things here, but go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
My question, real quick, is drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all think it's literally because she can't fulfill her duties, or do you think that she was flagged because there's a couple of things that could be biased potentially? I don't know her, obviously, but I mean, there's some things I can see a lot of folk being jealous. You know, maybe not just the fact of having some leniency for at the end of the day. It's not like she's not doing this to not serve her country. She's still serving the country. So I'll leave it at that. Y'all drop some drip in the comments if you think that it might be, might not be. Do you know her? Let us know, because maybe they got beef. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Right. But she got this. She got the stench of an overachiever too. So I could see where the hate could come in at. And there's probably a few people on that board like, shit, all she gotta do is update her LinkedIn and she's fine. She doesn't have to be here. So it's going to be that kind of energy. It's a few different things that we can, speak on here.
I mean, she's on the board because she wants to be, obviously, because she has a lot of other things going on. It's a power move. People who usually start in as an alderman or things of that nature, right, in the political sphere, they end up going for office. Like, so her trajectory in this case, I'm not, going to foreshadow whatever she's got going on, but from the look, from the feel, from all of this has the fledgling political powerhouse type of opportunity going on. Somebody who's been in the military serving, who's also in the community, who's also in the political space. That's the trifecta, right? When it comes to getting respect from people overall when you're running for some sort of office, in the short term. People can't say, well, you don't know anything about, the government, or I served in XYZ. I've been in the reserves. I've been deployed. I know about it from that perspective. I came back.
Shout out to the veterans.
Exactly.
Right.
So I came back home and I decided to do something about it. I care about the kids. So I'm going up in here with this educational piece. I think that we should have opportunities to do X, Y, and Z. I care about old ass people too. So I'm running these old folks' homes, making money, but it's still, how I'm doing it in a humane way. I'm not beating feet, all that kind of stuff. But in this case, I will say it's probably a slight hate, but the other side of it is going to be the fact that they probably do need decisions that would be made. But there's more than one board member. If this person's seat should not be vacated, because you just need to be damn respectful of what's going on. It's not like she's taking an extended mental leave of absence. She's not taking a vacation in Tahiti.
She wasn't in Cabo for 3 months. That was what I was going to say. I mean, it's a board. So, I mean, okay. There's other people that can make a few decisions without her being present. She even offered to be present through Zoom, and they was like, "No, you gotta be here." So it's some old troll looking
Chicks on
Right.
the board. That's all that is.
They
And
mad
then-
because she could do 5 pull-ups.
Exactly. My last piece of this, just to
That
make sure that
sis
we
can probably
button
do
it
more
up.
than 5. That's her.
Yeah,
she
but you
probably
know,
a
$5.
buck
I'm gonna
20.
be real with you.
But on that
She
board,
do 10 probably.
on most boards, you're not gonna see too many females that can do push-ups and pull-ups. You know, we're not the most
Oh, no.
athletic with our decision.
I think we probably rolling on a good 5% of America that could do that right now. But the Ohio lawmakers, just to button it up, they introduced the military service
I ain't gonna lie, she doing more pull-ups than
Elected.
me. I ain't even fronting.
Elected Office Act, which is HB 823 for all of y'all who want to be nerds about it. So it makes it explicit that an elected official seat cannot be declared vacant because they're deployed on active duty orders.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more important than that. Like, that's just a respect that you should have for somebody who's serving, especially when they're a reservist. They already got to do the 2 weeks. You know, the 2 weeks a year, you know, 1 weekend a month. That's already one thing that's going on. And then they get deployed. They're usually, you know, relieving active duty members that were already out in the field. And they might be out there, shit, who knows how long.
Haven't
Right?
seen their
The whole
family
regiment's going out.
in a soft 2 years, you know, and here she come to
Right.
help out. Like,
So here's my
Right,
question
yeah.
for y'all. While we are critiquing, like, oh, we should do this and we should do that. What about the folks who have to do the job in the meantime? So let's play devil's advocate for a second. Drop some drip in the comments. If somebody is deployed, let's say that she is over the finance, I think she was over like finance and business committees is what she was over and in. What if she was the only finance and business committee person?
If it was a small
I bet
ass city, I could see that though.
Well,
But
I bet
it's not.
you that the issue is that somebody's like, oh, it's gonna take. I have to do extra work because she's not here, and it's not like I'm gonna get the portion of her pay while she's not here because we should just be holding her a job, right? We shouldn't be like, why can't I get her pay during that time? Do y'all think that there should be something like that? Do you think that even though the reserve, like they hold your job, then should that person who takes on the responsibilities take their pay? Now, before you answer that, I will say this. If you believe the answer is yes, then you should keep that same energy about FMLA. Because when somebody go on leave for, you know, a short-term, long-term disability and all that stuff that's legally under FMLA, if you feel that way about the veterans, then I mean, to me, that you should feel like that too. That you should be fighting for, you know, I gotta pick up extra money because little Jimmy ain't here because he had a baby.
You taking away
the
just the humanity and work and being on a
Yeah.
team all on his
But
own.
I'm just saying, like, if you do that to the veterans
Such
and you
and
have
such
that
got
philosophy to
sick.
keep that same energy, such and
Like,
such to
imagine,
go defend your
you know,
country.
Dame, you on the team, right? You managing the team. Charles got sick. Charles gonna be out because he broke his arm playing basketball or whatever. He laid up for a little bit. He can't do whatever he got to do.
So he on
F.
FMLA.
Charles. I got to do his
Charles-
work for the next 3 weeks.
yeah, Charles insurance is only going for 2 months. They gonna yank
I'm
that.
just saying
too.
that if you feel that way about the veteran, if you like, look, I'm doing extra work, I should get extra pay. Then will little Jenny go out on maternity leave to take care of her little new rugrat? Then you should be fighting that same fight.
Right. I ain't had that
I don't
baby.
care. I don't care if
That's-
she up
this
there with
is-
her that
this
baby
is
on her
some
booby.
selfish- This is a selfish ass road we're going down.
I'm
That's
just
all
I'm
getting
just
at.
saying
I-
I'm just saying
I'm
that
trying not to-
all I'm saying is
I'm
you
not-
have to keep that same energy. If you believe
Yeah.
that, then I'm just saying don't just apply it because it's an
Right.
able-bodied person going to defend your country.
Like,
Somebody
you
defend
know,
your
like
country.
Jim Jones keep
keep
having
that
all
same
these
energy.
crumb snatchers, and if she don't come back to the show, it's just gonna be the Dame show after this. That's all I'm saying.
Hi. Welcome.
Play Dame like I don't want to do it.
Drip. Welcome to the Daily Drip Show. No, but no.
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying
I
keep
get
that
what
same
you're
energy.
saying. I will, but at the same time, you know, it is a situation where it's like you got to look at the overall. You know what I mean? FMLA pisses me off because it just certain people talking about, my nose and my anus hurt at the same time. I gotta stay. Shut up. You're a bitch. But you going to fight for the country.
Real question
you're
is why? Why does it hurt at the same time? What was you doing?
You was
I got questions.
No, but anyways.
Listen, surgeries.
Listen. So many roads we could travel down with that, but I would say take it it's a case by case study. That's the way I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna leave it at that. Drop some drip in the comments, guys. How you guys feel about this one? I know this is touchy because somebody is at work with that person that from time to time goes on FMLA because they gotta
here having these conversations.
They got a tender sternum
during this whole time.
First of all, that's not what I was gonna say. Oh, you think you funny, Joe? You think you funny? Shout out to Joe, always in the comments, giving me a hard time.
Right? Wow. He gonna cam up with 2 bunions showing up. That's what.
Hey, but that was a masterful transition.
Right. Speaking of feet.
Speaking of transition, let's talk about how Virginia said, how about we just go ahead and move on over to that popular vote that Kamala was talking about? You remember when she said the other day, we had TikTok going crazy over that video, by the way. Yeah. Virginia said, listen.
So shout out to TikTok then. If you're gonna say that, if you're gonna say you had TikTok, you had the internet going nuts.
On all our socials for Our Daily Drip Show. So just check us out. Our Daily Drip Show on all platforms. So just check out the show. And it's down below. You can see, it's scrolling on the ticker. But TikTok, we had a short that was made about Kamala saying, I really think that, you should get something in return, And the people's voices individually basically should be heard. The person shouldn't just speak for you. Oh, so like senators and like representatives and like mayors, and they shouldn't speak for us? Okay, bet. Well, Virginia said, listen, we agree with that too. More specifically, middle finger to the Electoral College is trash. So Abigail Spanberger signed a bill that adds the state to the National Popular Vote Compact, saying basically for the presidential electoral votes, just go ahead and just whoever has a majority, let them win. For Virginia specifically. So there are quite a few states that have agreed with that and want to do that. And I will, oh wow. No, I'm not expecting a paywall. And I have a video we can also see for a second. But real quick, what do y'all think about that? Y'all think that that's a good idea? No? Popular vote? No?
Not a room for error.
Trust y'all people? Not room for error. All right, let's see what they got to say here.
Let's see.
Oh, I was gonna show the video. You want
Virginia?
Me
to go ahead. I'll let you go. Yeah, go ahead and show the video.
Okay.
National effort to get around the Electoral College. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger signed a bill adding the Commonwealth to the National Popular Vote Compact. It's an agreement among states to award their presidential electoral votes to whichever candidate wins the national popular vote. With Virginia, a total of 18 states plus D.C. have joined the compact, totaling 222 electoral votes. The compact won't go into effect until enough states sign on to reach the required 270 votes to elect a president.
Drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all think that that's a good idea? Bad idea? Is Virginia on to something? Isn't Spanberger like new? I don't remember what. Is she the one who just got elected?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Like literally, like literally just. I'm trying to think. She,
I did a Common Sense car ride talking about her, and that the other lady that was running at the time. I don't know if y'all recall that, but Obama, he basically backed her.
Yeah, because she was running against a black woman who was a Republican, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly.
Yes, she did do a comment. I'm trying to remember when did she win.
Super vet in that state, and it's been interesting since she took that office. Go ahead, Cassius.
All right, so let's go ahead and rewind it, pull it back in.
Okay, so she was inaugurated, just so you know, January of 2026. So that's when she was inaugurated as governor of Virginia. There we go. Okay.
Gotcha.
So Virginia just joined the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. So that's becoming the 19th jurisdiction. So there's 18 states plus DC that signed on. Right. So with Virginia, as the lady said, it represents 222 votes. It needs 270. That's what's, that's the unlock for to activate. So it's 48 votes shy of flipping how we actually pick a president. That's the representation. I've been in bars with people who are part of the Electoral College. There's certain people who become delegates. That's a different thing. But once active, participating states must give their electors, those are the people that I'm talking about, that be chilling in the bar, give their electors, to the national popular vote winner. So even if their own states voters choose another candidate until the 270 is reached, Virginia still uses the winner take all under the Electoral College. But the bottom line in this is it's a workaround. It's not a constitutional amendment. That's the main thing that's about all of this, is that we're talking about changing how the Constitution works. So moving us forward to a national popular vote by interstate contract, which, a lot of centerists in this case, like people who are in the middle, independent, and all that, see it as clever, but it's also just a backdoor change that would disconnect the state's electors from its own voters. So say, for instance, if one state said they wanted to vote a different way, then we all flipping because we just trying to hit that 270. I think that it's a slippery slope. I mean, California has a whole bunch of votes, like 50 something, I believe, in Electoral College votes. They have a big swath of that, and they were going to be a part of that anyway. You pulling in all the ones that got the onesie twosies into this, it's a different case. Let's see what we got here. We got Joe said, so if the state votes for a Republican but a Democrat wins the national popular vote, then your vote didn't even matter if you voted Republican, and vice versa. Very true. So we're changing how the constitutional way of voting works. And then he pulls up this one, which is actually very true. And if people disagree, go ahead and put it in the comments. But he says the Supreme Court should shut this down. It's a contract between all the states that want to join this. Is essentially what it is. Like, hey, Virginia's in it. South Carolina's in it. We're all going to say that we're just going to go with the popular vote if it rolls that way, right? So that's how that's rolling.
So here, this is to piggyback on that comment. So this says that, why do we have Electoral College? Why does it exist? It says the majority of Americans, more than 60%, support abolishing the Electoral College. So that's where this is kind of coming from. The backers of the Electoral College idea say that the system balances power amongst large and small states by doing it the way that it is. Sorry, y'all, I had to sneeze. So this is what, this is the idea. Here we go. There we go. So think of it this way. A lot of people are like, well, listen, a lot of presidents have been elected, but the popular vote does not reflect what the Electoral College is. So just to give context, a lot of the Electoral College numbers are supposed to match population. So for example, California is going to have the most, it's the biggest state, has the most people living in the state, right? So they have the most, quote, Electoral College votes of all. Whereas you might have like Delaware might have like one one total vote, electoral college vote, right? So let's say Cali has, a substantial amount. Delaware only has one, but Delaware is a really, really small state. And so people are saying that if I live in Delaware, then me voting doesn't really matter, because even if everybody in Delaware said, I want this specific person in office, it doesn't matter if everybody in Cali says that they want this other person, or everybody in New York wants this other person. Their voices are not heard, is pretty much that sentiment. And that's why people have played with the idea of popular vote, because even if I live in a small state, I know that my one vote equaled one vote to where it's going, not just thrown into a pool of like essentially feeling like it's nothing. So I hope that explains it a little bit of why there's actually even a conversation around this, because that's why people want to feel more and more these days heard and seen. And if I can't guarantee that the weight of these is doing that, then you lose some buy-in.
It kind of pulls it more into a direct democracy than a representative democracy, if that makes sense. So direct democracy is one vote equals the one vote. Representative democracy is we elect people or we vote, and then the people that are super delegates, they're delegated the power to vote on our behalf for the area that people are in. All right.
F your vote. We gonna choose for you.
The last part I want to share is this part here, and then we can move on. But I want to share this part. Here's the part that people have a problem with. Shout out to my dad for this one. This was his problem. He said he brought this up into a class, and his teacher basically told him, get out of class if you don't like the electoral college. So he had some beef back in the day with this, but each state's legislator determines how electors are chosen, but there are two main restrictions. They can't be federal government workers, and they can't be members of Congress. Okay, so that means that they can't already have their hand in the pot. However, this is the part that's crazy. Federal law doesn't require that person, the electoral college person, so the elector, to vote in a way that reflects that results of their state. So, meaning, let's say I'm in California. We talked about how California has the most votes. Let's say I'm in California and everybody votes, says, you know what, the majority of people say, we really would rather have a Republican candidate. California can be like, I see that, 6 million people voted to have a Republican candidate, but these 5 million over here voted for a Democrat. I'm gonna put it in for the Democrat. What this is saying is that they can do that, depending on what state. It says 37 states do have laws saying that they have to basically vote with what other people said that they want, but the remaining ones technically don't. And that, my friend, is the scary part of the Electoral College. And how many of y'all know who is your elector for the Electoral College? Does anybody know? Anybody? Drop some drip in the comments if you know.
No.
That's the scary part, because don't nobody know.
Like I said, I hung out with a few in the bar, and I found out, how it might be an ex-mayor, it might be an ex-president. Like usually people don't know who the delegates are, or super delegates is what some are called. So that's where you start understanding where the actual power is. So there's illusion of power, and then there's actual power. So that's a whole nother scenario that we can go down one day. Let's see what we got here. Let's check out these comments that we got. We got Joe. So it stops one state from controlling federal elections. Yeah, because I mean, really, if you want to stack the deck, all you got to do is just have incentives for people to go to your state, like no state tax and free healthcare, free childcare. Your state gets loaded the hell up with population because you handing out some free shit, and all you got to do at that point is have enough infrastructure to hold all these people, and then you have them vote a certain way that you want to vote. So I mean, we use California that has enough density and space to hold probably, I would say, maybe a third of America, right, in population. So you do that, and all of a sudden now you Gucci. The president of California is the president of the United States. That's how.
So
that
Joe,
works.
I would challenge this in this way. I hear what you're saying, but wouldn't it work in this way? Let's say LA County, right? Like Los Angeles has a ton of people, right? LA County's got a lot of people. If it's the Electoral College, that actually matters more than if it was popular vote, because let's say 3 million people live in LA County. If it's popular vote, it doesn't matter if they're in LA County or not. They could be anywhere in the US. Their one vote matters. So I guess you're saying that the issue is with proximity to like environment, that people would think be more swayed. Is that what you mean by that? Like, let me know what you mean by that. Do you mean that they'd be more swayed because they live in proximity? So like maybe if they were spread out, right, they wouldn't have the same alignment of values and stuff. I guess I'm trying to figure that out, because if it was popular vote, to me, that would make more sense for that argument, because
I'm gonna say this: like
Electoral College
what
would be
happened is-
controlling an area, because
have-
if Cali's going to outtake Delaware all day.
But the thing is this: you have everybody else paying for the policies, the protections, and whatever that one state cares about, that the other states may not be able to afford or want to even do from a cultural perspective. Just because
so now
you got the
going where
most people in
President
one
Trump
state.
was saying that states need to hold their own nuts. Y'all going down that path.
Not necessarily. It's just
Because
having
I mean,
a
if
voice.
they want that philosophy, that matches what President Trump's saying.
It's simply having
you
a
wanna do
voice
all
to
that?
say I'm not down for whatever this is. Like my state can't hold that up. Like for instance, if California had free healthcare for the state, Delaware or Rhode Island, which has one electoral vote anyway, so the voice isn't even as big, but they can't afford to do that because they don't have the population to support that for healthy individuals versus the non-healthy individuals, or older population versus younger population who wouldn't use those services. That's really what I'm getting at, is that the logistics in all of that is just something to be looked out for. Now, if we all go to, popular vote and just the most people win or whatever, then that's just what it is. It takes away from, a population of people that may be, we'll say, less financially well off. Those types of things, like you'll get votes to remove lobbies and money and business from the. So it puts it, like, again, in a direct democracy type of position versus a representative democracy position. But is that the best route to go? Because somebody got to pay the bill for that. That's really what it comes down to. Everybody can't get free shit all the time. So the bill's gonna come due at some point.
That's a good segue. Speaking of bills.
Speaking of feet,
No, not speaking of feet. Speaking of bills, let's talk about Iran for a little bit and some international politics. Y'all see them doing this Lego stuff? Y'all seen this yet?
I haven't.
This came from CNN. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do
What's with all the Iran Lego videos?
America first? Oops. Oh boy, that was the slogan you stole.
This is one of the latest viral videos by pro-government Iranian media outlets. A regime-aligned propaganda outfit based inside Iran called Explosive Media has really dominated the scene, creating AI-generated Lego videos about the war that rack up thousands of views and shares. They're traditional, outdated videos and images of religious iconography most associated with the Islamic Republic are getting pushed aside. Instead, these globally oriented songs and raps talk about the core principles of the Islamic Republic, like anti-Westernism and anti-imperialism, in a more modern way.
We're standing here for everyone your system ever wrong, they've known all along.
Nargis Bajoli says the war has changed how the Islamic Republic communicates.
Because their fathers have been killed mostly, this younger generation now has at least to be able to sort of take on the decision making and how to communicate with the world about what Iran is and what the Islamic Republic stands for. They've put aside a lot of that religious language.
And it's not just Lego videos. Over the past few weeks, Iranian embassies all around the world have begun trolling the US and Israel. And Iranian leaders, like Speaker of the Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, have also begun posting memes and internet culture references, showing a real shift in propaganda.
It's quite incredible to me to watch. They have outdone the United States and Israel in communications, especially in the social media realm. That to me shows that the young folks are in charge of the communications arm in Iran. And in the United States and Israel, it still feels beholden to an older generation, which is why I think they're failing in the digital world.
Drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all think that that's true? Do y'all think that there's a shift in who's running what and how information is coming out? So, Play Name, you haven't seen any of those Legos then yet.
No, I did. I think I did. I think you showed me one of those videos before, like a few weeks ago. I was tripping off of it. I'm like, man, it's no question on on what they believe in, who they want to win the war.
Well, it's interesting because we obviously wouldn't know anything that we would say like to Iran as like propaganda. I've not heard anything that quote we would do. So I think it's interesting to see that. Also, I also want to say this. I know that everybody's picking on President Trump, like, oh, you know, nobody else would do anything to Iran. But I want to share this, and I'm gonna share one more video that we can get into. Y'all ready? This is gonna be a hoot.
Well, the question was, if Iran were to launch a nuclear attack on Israel, what would our response be? And I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
Does that word sound familiar? Obliterate? Anybody else say obliterate? And everybody said that what a heinous word to say. Well, as you can see, he wasn't the first one to say that. And finally, let's hear a little bit from some previous presidents, y'all, before we have a full-on discussion.
All trade and investment with Iran.
Our second goal is to prevent regimes that sponsor terror from threatening America or our friends and allies with weapons of mass destruction. Iran aggressively pursues these weapons and exports terror, while an unelected few repress the Iranian people's hope for freedom.
I strongly believe that our national security interest now depends upon preventing Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon.
Well, I can say to you, Iran will never get a nuclear weapon on my watch, as they say.
Iran's key nuclear enrichment facilities have been completely and totally obliterated.
Let's talk about it for a second. A lot has gone on with Iran. I just wanted to bring up, we've talked about Iran quite a few times, and we'll get to talk about the blockade in a second, but this is not new. I've just showed multiple generations of presidents being like, listen, we really don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. And if they do, we're not going to be happy. Now, I will say with the Hillary video, one thing she did say is that if they were to attack Israel, that is what she would do. So not that she would initiate something like that, but in response to something. But to piggyback on that, I also want us to look at the sentiment of every president.
Like that's the whole point of defense, right?
They've literally, every president since Clinton has said, like, listen, we're concerned that Iran's going to have a nuclear weapon. So it's just, for some reason, Donnie was like, listen, I'm pulling up. I'm going to take care of this. Y'all been talking about, I don't know if Iran has it. I'm pulling up.
I do it.
On my way.
I do it. Yeah, I do it. It's cool.
I mean,
I've been talking about this. And nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about any of these other presidents said something. They said something, but they really pull up, you know?
Yeah. hate it or love it, he stand on business when it comes to this. And it's not, and that's the thing that gets me is just, well, I mean, honestly, we all understand the TDS of the situation, you know.
Well, Obama, I can't say Obama didn't do anything, though. He did have a negotiation with him, so I can't say Obama didn't do nothing.
He gave him some money.
Whatever, they chill. They chill.
But but they gonna still keep
satisfy the situation, and that'll be what it is.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, my thing is the issue I have at hand.
We need this money. If we gonna be sanctioned to death, essentially we put on a on an island financially from everybody. What do you expect for a certain country to do? Right? I mean, you being put in that kind of position. Now we starving. We're separated from everybody. Same thing that was done with Russia, right? You take them out of SWIFT. That's how everybody transacts. What do you?
I'd have been like, look,
somebody to do?
Look, me and NATO, we got to sit down and talk about this, y'all. Everybody got to put in. Like it shouldn't all just come from us.
They said we didn't. Well, NATO said, "Listen, you ain't asked us if you could pull up because maybe we would have said no." They said you big dog.
I'm talking about with the previous presidents. I'm just like, we got to look, NATO. We got to figure this out. We're trying to strengthen, deal with them within reason. They like, huh? Y'all got all the money.
Sound like an American problem to me. That's what they like.
Yeah.
We call y'all. What you call it?
Like, I signed up for the ride. I ain't signed up for the die.
Right. Meanwhile, everyone, we're gonna obliterate them.
Ride and will die. That's two different things.
That was one of them campaign promises that folks didn't plan on really seeing through. Elect me, and I will obliterate Iran. And then some, they're like, we'll get to them. 2 years later, we'll deal with them.
To be fair, Obama didn't say he was going to obliterate. He just said that I acknowledge that they're a threat. Bill had his own stuff going on, but Bill acknowledged that they're a threat. Listen, if Baby Bush would have had the time, I'm sure he would have pulled up. We didn't showed him before with his rhetoric. But they're all my thing is this, they're all acknowledging that there is concern from their perspective of them having nukes. So, real quick summary, beef has happened. If you've been living on the rock, you don't know what's happened so far. I believe as of the last time I checked, there's a ceasefire from Israel to Lebanon, and there's still a level of a blockade. There's some disagreement between what's allowed to go through and what's not allowed to go through. There's some disagreements going on there, but I'm gonna go ahead and share this video. It was 11 hours ago because I wonder if language is like literally a barrier in this situation where like President Trump is like, listen, it's open, baby. It's open. And Iran is like, who said it was open? But maybe I'm wondering if maybe the definition of what open is a problem. And some of the word choices. I'm being serious. Like I do think some of these word choices, like, it's not making sense. But let's go ahead and get into this.
I can tell you why it's not making sense.
And
okay, well, you go ahead after this.
Hormuz is completely open now that Israel and Lebanon have agreed to a ceasefire. Now, President Trump made the announcement on his Truth Social platform shortly after Iran's foreign minister confirmed the opening. But in his statement, the president called the critical fuel passageway the Strait of Iran. Now, this is a live look at marinetraffic.com. It shows vessels moving through the strait right now, and we'll keep an eye on it to see if that activity continues to increase. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand.
Let's go back. Hold on, I want to show y'all that again.
Let's bring in.
All right, let's look at this for a minute. I want to zoom. It'll let me. I don't think it will. Look at that. Now, remember, the Strait of Hormuz is this is that turn everybody keep talking about right here. Boom. That's that right here. It's that boom. That's that turn everybody talking about. Look at that map. All right, go ahead, Cassius Pay. Go ahead and say what you got to say, because I want to make sure this visual is up there as you saying it.
Okay. So let's talk about it from, like, I guess, the international approach. That'd be the first thing. How do I approach this? All right. So the U.S. blockade over Iran, like the ports and the Strait of Hormuz, means that U.S. ships are telling commercial vessels in international waters to turn around. And they paid transit fees to Iran. Tell me if that makes sense. And then they're actively clearing mines Iran previously laid. So we're talking about CENTCOM now. So CENTCOM and multiple reports say that at least 10 ships have already been turned back or redirected, and no vessel has successfully crossed the U.S. restrictions since the operation began. So that's another piece. We can get into the confusion here. Iran threats versus actions we're going to talk about. Iran officials publicly warn they can target U.S. warships and close the Strait of Hormuz or disrupt traffic in the Red Sea if the blockade continues. But so far, those threats have stayed mostly rhetorical and limited to, like, drone harassment. So they're flying around like, I'm gonna dip it in on you. I'm gonna dip it in on you if you keep on. So that's what's happening there. And like maybe like some fast boat maneuvers. So that's a fast boat maneuver for those who are in the Navy, they know. But for others who don't know what a fast boat maneuver is essentially like I come across, and I'm gonna cut across your bow, or in this case, I'm almost caused a jet ski accident. You know, something just to give you a visual, right? Like just a bunch of reckless shit to be like, look, I could crash into you. We could mess it up. We could burn it out. But that's not what we gonna do today. If you chill, that's where we going with it. And so really we talking about the gap now, right? So the gap is loud threats, limited follow through, and that shows that Iran understands the cost of a direct naval fight with the U.S. They already know that if it gets there, then it's gonna be done. They can't win that. That's just the facts, which could devastate its own economy that depends heavily on the oil exports through those same waterways. So they're playing a game too. It's a game of chicken when you think about it. Right now they're winning because it's the threat of violence on boats that people are not willing to take. All you got to do is boil one, and they already did that. So you boil one, everybody like, hey, hold on, shit, I ain't going out there. You crazy. I'm not going out there at all. But let's take it from an international angle approach. So international law specifically. Under international law, the freedom of navigation is a core principle. But it states also claims rights to enforce blockades or sanctions in a collective type of security. So what the U.S. is doing. So self-defense terms, which is why the U.S. lawmakers framed the blockade as an operation against Iranian mining in this case, or toll taking. So both of which people are like, hey, that's against the international principles. So it's not just arbitrary harassment there. But at the same time, you're now seeing other states with other types of jurisdictions. So that's like Mexico suing a major U.S. tech firm or something like that for misinformation.
That's perfect segue.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that.
Okay. So
we're
yeah,
gonna talk about Mexico suing Google. That's what's next.
So
is Mexico suing Google.
Talking about international law. So that's what I was getting into.
Yeah.
And that's like the reputational damage, which hints at the world where we'll say more governments use law and courts as economic weapons and not just sanctions. So that's what I was getting at with that. But the last piece of this before she gets into this piece is the international impact, right? And the consumer impact, because that's what we all feeling now, right? 1/5 of the global trade of oil has historically moved through the Strait of Hormuz. And we've all heard about that on the news at this point. 20%, same thing, right? But any sustained disruption or insurance repricing where the flows of the strait goes into like higher transport costs. So that's the shit that we feeling in food, transport, the gas, all of that. Higher energy prices, higher inflation prints on the US and Europe. So even if Iran does nothing militarily, this whole standoff just raises the prices of shipping. Technically, is shipping insurance, but then that raises the price of shipping. Slow traffic, and all of that nudges up the fuel price. In practice, middle-class Americans like us pay for the slowdown at the pump, pay for airfare, pay for all of this. And Iran still has enough capacity to keep the West nervous. Why? Because they're using drones to do all this. They're not using big-ass missiles for none of this. That's all I'm going to get on, for that. My bad for going down that rabbit hole.
You just nerded out. So go ahead and add it into the international law. I want to go ahead and go to, let's talk about Mexico. So do y'all remember President Trump said, listen, I don't even care what y'all talking. We about to name this bad boy the Gulf of America. Let's go. And Google was like, bet. Gulf of America. Click, click, click. Publish. Mexico said, you can't do that. You cannot rename international or Mexican waters because Donald Trump does not have the authority to do so. So since you think he do, we finna sue you. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sue you. So let's go ahead and see a little bit about international law. Let me zoom out a little bit because it's so it's a little bit more palatable. All right, y'all.
Now, zoom into the body of water between the United States, Mexico, and Cuba. On all three maps, the name is different. What's going on here?
So this video is going to tell you that actually the map depends on where you are when you look at the map.
In January 2025, President Trump signed the Restoring Names That Honor American Greatness executive order. It directed the Secretary of the Interior to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
That has forced private companies like Google to navigate on their own whether to embrace a name change that lacks international consensus or risk a backlash from the president.
This is uncharted territory. This is something new, where companies are thinking about what to call a body of water.
The usual process by which the federal government changes the names of geographical features is via an entity called the Board of Geographic Names.
This is...
Okay, so he's about to nerd out and tell you how it gets named. It's interesting. The reason why we bring this up is a lot of the questioning that's going on around President Trump's actions is what he's doing rogue? Is what he's doing legal, or is what he's doing necessary? So this is going to kind of add on to that questioning. Drop some drip in the comments. What do y'all think? I'll see if I might even put a poll up there. I don't know. I don't know how well it went last time, but maybe we'll put a poll in there.
Dave Fagundes, a law professor at Emory University. We asked him to explain how the process of changing the name of a geographic location typically works under U.S. law.
So the board is comprised of representatives from a variety of different federal agencies. And the board typically takes suggestions from government entities, state governments, or even private citizens who suggest that a given geographical feature be renamed.
The process can take months or even years, and it takes a majority vote from the board to approve a name. Congress can also pass a law to name geographic features. But Trump chose a different route for the Gulf of America.
This executive order was different. This wasn't phrased as a suggestion. Rather, President Trump directed the Secretary of the Interior to change the name of what was once the Gulf of Mexico.
Trump isn't the first president to institute a name change via executive.
Okay. So when we start talking about international law, there's really beef that's going on where there are bodies of water or bodies of land or geographical nuances where people are like, you are not allowed to tell someone or something what it is. It needs to be agreed upon because you live in a space with other folks, right? We call that in the workplace, what do they call it? Emotional intelligence. Is that what they try to deem you as? I'm just saying, like, but no, for real, like you were in the workplace, they try to play you and be like, you don't have emotional intelligence. You didn't see that Bobby was next to you when you did that spin move and you were acting out this thing. And it's like, well, I didn't.
It's just
mean to run into Bobby. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know he was there, right?
On another party,
but it's awareness of other people, right? And the impact to other people.
So it's talking about your level of dominance versus being empathetic to other people who are just sharing the same space as you. That's what it's talking about. So I understand it. Do we need to change it just because America's bigger or whatever? That's what he's getting at. But other things have changed too. Shoot, the Louisiana Purchase was one of those.
They about to get into. He's not the first one, and then we'll go into our next topic.
Executive order.
Back in 2015, President Obama issued an executive order requiring that the Secretary of the Interior and the board change the name of what was then called Mount McKinley to Denali.
But the debate over the name of that mountain had been simmering for decades.
Denali is meaningless to people other than those in Alaska.
The Gulf of America name has a much shorter history.
President Trump was looking to take his America First agenda in a new direction, and that was with what created this Gulf of America terminology.
There is a distinction, though, between government entities and the private sector over who has to use the name.
There is no legal obligation for any company or anyone in the private sector to use this name. All it does is it tells federal agencies to rewrite their maps or, their paperwork and use this term.
While there is no law forcing companies to use the new name, some are choosing to do it anyway.
About 20 S&P 500 companies have been referring to the Gulf of Mexico for the past 5 years or so. And I was looking at more in the past year how that language might have changed. About half have embraced the Gulf of America or moved away from the Gulf of Mexico.
Why are they doing it?
So I wanted to go to the comment that we have from Joe. Different names already exist. I have not been. And I mean, it could be subjective, but that's not what they're saying in this video. This is
no, I mean, like, think about it, like how people pronounce turkey as turkey, right? It's turkey is how it's supposed to be pronounced. Same thing. So
pronouncing and naming something different are two different things, though.
I'm just giving an example.
And even this, it still means the same thing, right? Like to a degree, like it's still lineage of origin of same people, right? Like
you saying Deutschland, which is different than calling it Germany. Let's call it Deutschland.
But are the people from the same origin? I guess that's my question.
Call themselves Deutschland, then you call it Deutschland to respect the people and the culture there. You don't call it Germany just because you whooped ass. That's really what we talking about. You Germany now, bitch. But we call ourselves Deutschland. You Germany.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying. I think if
Persia
if people,
versus being called Iran. Same thing.
I mean, but also wouldn't it take that those who represent that culture to adopt that for that to go mainstream? because I can't call you. I can't like just rename you.
It depends on
I
who
don't know,
runs the
that's
maps,
strange.
right? Who runs the maps? Who's able to say you called XYZ? Yeah.
That
So
just gets it. Okay,
yeah, no,
so if I pull
seriously.
up to Iran, right? Let's say Iran goes by Persia, right? Let's say they were. I pull up to Iran. Hey man, I'm in Iran today. What? Where you at? This is Persia. I'm in like. Does it? To me, I guess. Would it matter that I'm calling it that? Because like they don't know.
It does matter. It's a level.
They don't
of
know who I'm
respect.
talking to, but they don't know who I'm talking to. If anything, they should check me. Like we don't acknowledge that. Like check them. So yes, I agree with you. Like check. You should check them because that's not what acknowledge. If we're gonna do, I guess it's just wild to me. We're gonna do pronouns, but we can't acknowledge people for where they call themselves. I'm actually blown by that.
A power
But
play.
I'm
we
literally
call you
blown
what
by
the hell
that.
we want to call you is really what.
But then we
what
ask
it's
people their
saying.
pronouns is wild.
Internally, people don't care about your pronouns. They're just
At
trying
all.
to have some type of
That's wild.
facetious argument about things because we're a first world country and people kind of talk about those things when you don't have to worry about, which is changing, worry about what you're gonna eat the next day, right? Those are the things that you get to have the freedom to debate when you don't have to worry about tabletop issues.
You're right. Because we're gonna go ahead and slide
Speaking
into
of
Justin
feet,
Trudeau.
yeah.
Speaking of feet, Justin Trudeau is out there with isn't this Katy Perry? They out in Coachella using plastic cups. Now, y'all gotta remember. Now, I'm segueing into that because
and part of
this
what
is
Joe's
privilege.
talking about here too, it says if I'm in Iran, saying Iran, but America is Iran, right?
Mhm.
I'm respecting their culture when I'm in their culture. No, just like calling people Arabs, and we already know how people do in the
I heard
hood.
it.
They say
That's a bad-
Arabs. You know what I'm
they
saying?
do,
Like,
and that's
oh,
so disrespectful. Man, listen, I
Oh,
still hear
Lord.
people saying that. I'm like, y'all can't say that. Don't even, like, come
Right.
on now.
or people say like when you talk about Indian, you talk about red dotted or feather, like doing that kind of shit.
You
Like
can't, yeah, like, come on, man.
like that
Come
to me,
on,
like
man.
that is very disrespectful.
Very.
Especially if you've been
You know, meet
corrected.
meet
The
people
thing-
where they at. That's all I'm saying. Meet people where
sometimes
they at.
before we go into Canada, and y'all can attest to this, people who are not from America, sometimes when people pronounce these things or
It's
we know-
ignorance because they just not trying.
it is literally ignorance. Like it's not that anybody's ever pulled up on them and said, we don't say such and such, and really pulled up on them to let them know that too. Don't
Wow.
put that up there. Don't do
Right,
that.
I'm going to because he went there with it.
No, I'm taking it down. Don't do that. So like to give people who are not from America, sometimes people say those things and no one's really pulled up on them and educated them and even really pushed the truth to them and why we don't say XYZ. And so unfortunately, y'all on the other side of the pond or wherever at in the world, you see those videos, those instances of the people who've never seen other people with lifestyles who never even look like them. Believe it or not, in America, there are people who have never talked to someone who's black, has never had a black friend. I know y'all think that like all over America,
Black
we
people
just
ain't
all the
everywhere
way-
in the United
I'm
States.
just- I'm just saying,
is that a
even-
hard
and even-
thing to
even-
believe? I know
but
I grew up in the hood.
I
and I
believe,
seen black people
that people, I do think so. I think that there's people in America and people outside America who think that we're just like more so like Toronto. Like I would say Toronto is far more like mesh and culturally integrated than in America. And I think people's ideology of the melting pot of America is like New York City and Toronto. Majority of America is not
How
like
can that be when there's redlining and there's Ku Klux
they don't
Klan
know.
and a
They
bunch of
don't
other
know
shit
that.
historically
They
made
think
those
that there's
things.
only a couple pockets in the drop some drip in the comments. If you're not
in
from America,
sundown
let me know if
towns.
I'm
There's so
wrong.
many things that have
Oh God.
But if you're not
attributed
from
to
here,
the
but if you're not
segregation of places.
But if you're not from here, when they see the celebrities, right, musicians, there's so much diversity and all these other things that are actually out in the public, and not thinking about like the small percentage of opportunity execution someone had to be that. You wouldn't know.
But that's very
unless
small
you're here.
percentage. I mean, you
Correct, but they
now
don't know
you're
that.
talking about. Okay, so in the NBA was like maybe 400 people total, maybe. Do you think all of them get to live in certain areas? No, really only the top 25% actually can afford to live in the areas that we're talking about, because everybody else is taking their cut, and of course Uncle Sam's taking a cut. Everybody else is living in regular ass places with regular ass cars, doing regular ass things when they ain't sitting on the bench on the end of, at the Charlotte Hornets game or whatever it's gonna be.
Like I said, but a lot of people,
it doesn't work that way.
People don't know that. So all I'm saying is that, like, when we talk about the language and the words and how people use it, and people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe in America they would say that. There's a lot more segregation in America than people probably really understand, whether it's, a certain type of people. A lot of times people still congregate with their culture, right? You go into the workforce, you can go to office space and go on TikTok and just look it up. Go into office space or to college, and you'll go to school with people who have never seen people who don't look like them, and they are shook it. I went to college. Story time, real quick. I went to college
with the story time.
Story time, boom. I went to college, and I went to a small college, and in the college I lived in the dorms, and there was a young white girl who I knew she ain't never seen nobody different than look like her. But about 4 months
she clutch her purse when you walk past or some shit?
Well, to be fair, I sound like this. But if I didn't sound like this, the other girls who sound like, I'm not gonna do it.
No, go ahead.
You know what I mean?
Go ahead and do it. Let's go
they not
viral.
gonna come in here and cook me. Y'all know. Look, sound like Sukiana.
We got your back.
Shout out,
we got your back.
Shout out to Sukiana. Shout out to Sukiana. Shout out to Cardi B. Right, when we talk about like very, very thick accents of other cultures, or that you live in an environment where you still have accent. If you live in a like the hood, you still got like a kind of a hood accent. If you might not hear it yourself, but other girls who don't sound so clear when they talk like this, those girls, she didn't want to talk to them. She was nice to me because I guess I sound like this. But anyways, she lived on the floor, and I was one of the only black girls on my floor. Okay, everybody else white girls.
What do you mean
About
by
3 months
sound like this? What does that mean? What do you mean by that?
I just said very clear in how I am talking, where I am pronunciating every word. Like
talking about
that
diction
kind of
now?
cadence.
Is that what you're talking about? Is
that kind of
raise your
cadence?
IQ
Yeah,
level?
diction. No, that doesn't mean anything about your IQ level. It's just the fact that of comfortability, that if you sound similar to how I sound, there's a higher chance that you might have a chance to feel like we can to have a kind of a connection. So anyways, about 3 months
Connection.
or so
What do you
in,
mean by that connection?
to be able
let's
to just
unpack
talk.
that.
Okay,
Let's
give me a second. Let me get
What do
to
you mean
let me
by
get
that?
to the story. And about three.
No,
about
I
3
don't want to
months
get to
in-
the story. I want to talk about the racism.
We can unpack it in a second. She gonna get to the racism in a second. About 3 months in, we had a program because like we used to have programs before, and it ended, and the black girls, Latino girls, they lived on one floor, and then most of the white girls lived on the floor that I lived. Yep, these people. You right? We about to get to that. So they do programs for the whole dorm, right? So this is kind of segregated with little sprinkles, right, of people who don't look the same. Long term, they mix that up. But anyways, that year it was kind of segregated. They did a program for everybody to come together. After the program, I'm helping cleaning up, and then I'm chilling in the lounge area, and the girl looks at me and she said, growing up, I didn't know anybody who was black. And she's like, I feel I know that break is coming up. I don't know if I can go home. And she looked like she was gonna cry. I'm like, why? She said, because I just don't even know how to explain the different people I've met and what I thought I knew about people who were from a place, she wasn't from the city.
And now you're
she's like,
getting
and
at
now
why conservative people who grew up in rural spaces, they want to make sure that people don't meet people in college. He said,
now don't get me wrong.
Once you go black.
No, but hold on though. When she graduated, she was still Republican. Okay, first of all, baby graduated.
Well, people tend to go
degree,
to
and she
what
was
they
still
know.
conservative, but her and there was other girls too where they're like, I appreciate.
But
this
are black
experience
people are black people liberal like that, or are black people
You know
really
what?
conservative?
Well, in college spaces, let's keep it real. It depends on where you live. And at the time from where my college was, I can tell you this, that 100% of the black girls who went to in my dorm were liberal. 100%. Because it was at the time where there were elections going on and a lot of racial stuff going on. And it was like black folks versus white folks. And it was very, very much divided. And literally the argument was, you black people are only vote over here because you don't want to vote for the white person. So no, very much so. But I think that's a whole other conversation, because I think as people get older too, they have a reason to be a little more conservative. They have a reason to look beyond certain things that maybe they have an affinity to align with differently. Versus when you're younger and you start getting your eyes open, you might have more of a opportunity to. Damn, baby, I look good. You know what I'm saying? I be dyeing my hair. You didn't see none of this girl in 1965. You know what I'm saying?
She over here in post reconstruction talking about well, they had the black water fountains, and
but it wasn't black water fountain. But I'm saying it was.
Or how you say white water fountain?
White boy.
And then so hold on. There was another dorm that was very mixed. To be fair, there was another dorm that was very mixed. But the dorm that I lived in, okay. Let me take another layer. Wait. Let me give you another layer. The reason. Wait. Hold on, we gonna go there. The reason why the dorm was layered like that depended on your major. We can talk about that another day. Because certain majors,
it was whites only majors.
White boy.
What? Wait a minute. What major you thought that girl was that I lived on that floor with? Just tell me what y'all think she ended up being. Drop some drip in the comments.
Denied.
Drop some drip in the comments. What major do you think that?
And Jim Jones stayed, and they tried to yank her off that counter, and she said, "I'm staying." And you're gonna love me.
Can't stand y'all. I'm done. We're gonna talk about Justin Trudeau. I'm done with y'all. Let's talk about Justin Trudeau, because y'all over here tripping. And no, I did not go to school in 1965, but I did go to a very small school, and it was a PWI school. So that's why. So let's talk about Justin Trudeau. So Justin Trudeau is facing some backlash because at Coachella, he had a plastic cup. Y'all like, listen, why y'all tripping? It's just a plastic cup. He can get a whoop on this plastic cup. Ain't a big deal. Well, in 2019, he had an initiative to ban single-use plastics in Canada. And then that policy took effect in 2022. Now, not all plastic cups are prohibited under that law, but people are saying this is hypocrisy, and there's a debate over public figures' responsibility to model their own policies. Drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all think
I didn't know Coachella was in Canada?
What do you mean?
Exactly.
It ain't that it's
because he's in the United States.
Yes, but it ain't that it's in Canada. It's the fact that he felt like, oh, we need the same thing for we can't use cups. But then he's like,
but he ain't in Canada.
I'm out. I'm in America. Let's get these red cups.
What he gonna be able? What he gonna do with that?
Oh, what?
I mean, he ain't the president of the United States.
He better bring his glass bottle. Bring your glass bottle.
Wow. So that's what he gonna do. So he's supposed to travel with glass bottles when he goes to other countries.
He told everybody
they don't care about none of this.
But you. The problem is that you brought this up. You could have just shut up If you so worried about the environment, but that shows that it wasn't about the environment. That's all that it is.
Dame,
Doesn't matter
just
if
go
you're-
ahead and do your Canadian impression, please.
Oh my gosh.
Do I have one?
Yeah, you said about.
I don't know what all of this is about, but
Yeah,
I
there
am
you
the
go.
Red Cup Casanova. I sip from cup. I want to sip from cup. No one can tell me what kind of cup. I don't know what all of this is about.
Oh my gosh. I can't with you. All I'm saying is that you felt the need to say that, oh, the environment is not just in Canada. The environment is for the world. Captain Planet didn't just say, hey, let's just care about this country. Like, no. At the end of the day, you're supposed to act in your conduct is what people are arguing about, is saying that his conduct of him as a person to implement, to bring up something like that is hypocritical. So you disagree? It's not hypocritical. Hey,
We're
Canada,
the
y'all better
planet
have-
Terror.
How can he be
You could be one,
hypocritical in this? Well, he can't travel around with glass. Like what kind of shit is that?
He
Like
asking
what we
Canadians
talking
to
about?
do it. If they go
Huh?
from Toronto to Montreal, he's saying don't use plastic cups.
That's
though.
in Canada. Both of those are what Providences in Canada.
Yes,
Fine. That's
but
the
that
law
doesn't-
in
but if you're
Canada. I didn't know that Coachella was in Canada.
Coachella's
This is
not in
a bunch
Canada.
of
It's
bullshit
the fact
about
that
nothing.
it's the fact that
Nothing.
he's saying that it's for the environment. It does not
Nothing.
stop because it's in Canada. You shouldn't be doing that here either. Since you keep that same energy.
He
Look,
got to
that's
follow
real.
the
I'ma
law,
keep-
so he gonna bring
Man, I'ma
Canadian
keep
laws
that
with
same-
him to the
No, I
United
feel
States.
it. No, I
I'ma
I
keep that
feel
same
exactly
energy
what
person.
I get exactly what you're saying. But when he at Coachella, he Kanye. He said, "Excuse me, is you saying something? You can't tell me nothing. I'm gonna sip out of my red cup.
Keep that same energy.
Let that man
Right.
get it past."
And
You
he,
need
keep
to
that
got
stop
same
getting
energy.
mad.
the single use ramen bucket right there, whatever he got going on. He drunk as hell. Look at his eyes. Look at his cheeks.
Keep that
He
same
having a
energy.
good ass time. He drinking out that red cup. He done played beer pong. He doing all kind of stuff.
And he got Katy Perry on his left side.
Oh, listen.
See, I'm about to pull this up just cause.
Listen,
'Cause I'm
listen,
feeling
Joe.
like it today.
Listen, Joe.
Women go to
Listen, Joe.
Dubai to get shit on.
Yeah, but listen. Hold on. Okay, hold on, Joe. I agree.
When
with you.
in Rome.
The only-
That's what I'm talking about.
Listen, Joe. Joe. I hear you. But unless that woman was on a we don't poop outside the toilet advocate, then that would be my issue. Is if she had a whole policy.
If they
well,
on
the only place
Instagram,
you
they
poop-
saying that, ain't they? If they on Instagram,
Nobody-
I don't get shit on. I only get shitted on in Dubai. First
But
of
you're
all.
not imposing that. But they're not making
Same-
policy of. No, they're not making policy on no one. If anybody were to poop outside the toilet, then this XYZ should happen. That would be yes. Then in that instance, yes, Joe, I would say that they should not do that. But they're not in a position of power or influence to be like, if you do this, then this will happen. He was in a position where he implemented something that there's a consequence to something that he introduced. He could have just shut up about the plastic cups. Just shut up, Justin. You didn't have to say nothing about it. That's it. Instead, you want to be the red cup savior.
That's another.
Goofy. It's just goofy.
Look at him though. He's hot. He's high. You don't even know the color of the cup right now. You're like,
What
wow.
you mean, that
these-
orange cup?
These white cups sure are durable.
So y'all saying leave him alone. Whatever. I still.
I mean, he's
That's not-
you know,
yeah.
he's
Joe,
a
if you-
complete penis anyways. No one cares about Trudeau. Like, he's not even a prime minister anymore. No one cares.
No, but his policy is still something that exists. That's the problem, is that you got policy that's outstanding and you ain't even standing on your own business outside of that. Bye, Justin. Speaking
so you
of bye,
expect
Justin.
for him to be like
Yes.
all uptight about some shit that he can't do in another country.
If you go hold Tiffany
Laws in another
Henyard,
country.
if
They
you
not
go
they not
hold-
on them about oh shit, put them plastic bags down, bitches. We about the environment around here.
you want to hold Tiffany
Come on
Henyard
now.
accountable
Keep
for
the
something
party
she did in
rolling.
Illinois and
That's all
she in
I'm saying.
Atlanta. But you want to hold her accountable for what she did.
She's trying to go to Atlanta to then be a part of the political and powerful sphere.
But
You're
she
not
ain't do
doing
nothing
that
yet,
at Coachella. You are having fun in Coachella. You're not going there to debate to be president of the United States.
Where am I cap at? Where is my?
Oh,
Exactly.
don't stop. He
Put
get
it for yourself.
going.
Put the cap on for
Just
yourself.
don't stop. It gonna keep going.
There you go. Exactly.
That's him. He in there
Right.
rapping along with
Nah, if anything,
Young
he
Thug
ain't
with his
disrespect
red
to
cup.
her. Because he ain't got no job no more. Katy Perry going to the moon or wherever her
Right.
fake moon expedition.
You know,
He was
and
serving
you
to
know
her.
why she's able to do that? Because he ran up the digits, he ran up the money, he ran up the digits, he ran up the money. Monday.
Speaking of running the money up, great segue. Let's
Speaking
talk
of
about
big-
Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines. Y'all favorite airline said, listen, we about to be broke. Y'all
Yeah.
finna be mad. Let's see how broke they about to be.
For Spirit Airlines because of surging fuel prices. The embattled budget airline could be going under within days.
And CBS LA's Hunter Sowers is live in Burbank with worried travelers. Some who say they rely on Spirit to get to work. Hunter?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Pat. This is something that so many I talked to today said would be such a huge loss for these customers. But it's important to note Spirit Airlines has not confirmed the sources that we're hearing right now saying that they are just days away from liquidation. Spirit Airlines on shaky ground tonight with flights still taking off for now.
I would really hate if this airlines went under because it's like, really cost effective.
It's especially
You
It's so hard to say goodbye to dirty seats. Hate to see him go, but I don't know. I ain't. They not down for the count until we see him breaking it up. But I mean, the writing's been on the wall for how long, y'all?
I'm surprised because a lot of these flights are out of pocket right now. So let's hit play. Let's see what's going on.
especially troubling for flyers like Leroy Mulberry, who works in LA but travels home frequently to Las Vegas.
It's cheaper to fly than to drive, so I personally need this.
It's the go-to airline. I hope they can make it through. I really do.
He's not alone. Many we talked to said they rely on Spirit's cheaper fare and shorter route options. But Spirit is struggling. Entering its second bankruptcy in a year last summer, it cut routes and costs in part by shrinking its fleet. The airline had more than 200 jets when it filed for bankruptcy last August and planned to have just around 80 by the third quarter of this year.
It's really deleterious for the, for consumers at the end of the day.
But the war in Iran has caused the price of jet fuel to nearly double since January. Airline sources now tell CBS News some of Spirit's creditors question the airline's ability to make debt payments or return to profitability, which could lead the discount carrier to run out of financial runway.
Drops a drip in the comments. Is this going to stop you? Were you a Spirit rider? Do you feel like... Not the pink
I'm
eye
just gonna
elbow
say
is crazy.
I rode Spirit one time to go see my mama when she lived in Florida, and it was a ride. That's all I'm saying. Like I did it because it was new at the time. I was like, all right, yeah, we going to Tampa. All right, cool. I got on that damn plane. It was bare bones in a mug. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no snacks. I don't know where you got the pillow from, Joe. It probably cost you $2 or $3 to use anyway. Like they
Right.
nickel and diming the shit out of everything on those flights. And I get it. My favorite one, if we gonna go on that tier, is like JetBlue, right? Like if we gonna go on that kind of like value tier, JetBlue would be one that I would probably prefer. But if you're flying more than once every couple years, you might as well stick with one of the airlines that you're able to get points from be able to do upgrades on stuff like that. It's a art to this when you're flying around. But shit, if in these cases where these guys is going back and forth, they better get it how they live. They better start looking at getting their credit together so they can get one of them credit cards to do a Frontier or something like that, where they can start getting some points and some value into some of those services that they're trying to do for flights. Like you can't just rely on it being, I'm gonna take this $22 flight that ended up being $82 because is cheaper. Yes, it is. But you going on there with the clothes on your damn back. You don't take an extra wallet.
Don't pack a bag. And don't buy
pack
nothing.
a bag. Don't have a purse.
Cause you weigh that mud, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's
$50.
another 80.
Yeah, another 80, 50, 80, yeah.
Another 45, 47. Like, damn, what?
So according to this, you ain't gonna have much choice anyway. So Spirit's like, listen, we ain't gonna have no money. Drop some drip in the comments. Y'all Spirit riders, y'all gonna be sad about this. My thing is this: Spirit gets a lot of business. I'm trying to figure out what happened with all the money. They're not saying what happened with the money. We're gonna keep this close because I want to know what happened with the money. Why y'all money gone? So, all right, let's go to our next topic. Let's go into this one is actions have aftermath. So, Dame, you get to pick. You ready? You want to talk about Coldplay, lady, or you want to talk about the teacher? I'm gonna talk about the teacher.
Lady,
the Coldplay. Remember the one where the lady who got caught making out with the CEO?
Yeah,
for the
let's talk
Coldplay
about
concert?
her. Yeah, let's talk about her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or the teacher who was flicking off a driver. No, okay, Coldplay.
That's a tough one. It's a tough one. Go ahead.
All right. So let's talk about accountability for a second.
Thank you so much. Has Chris Martin ever reached out to you?
Nope, never did.
Would you appreciate if he did?
Yep. Would have been great.
Would you still go to a concert?
No. Coldplay or any concert?
Coldplay.
No, I'm all set.
All set.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You did a great speech.
Thank
though.
you.
I really liked
Thank
it.
you.
She wanted him to reach out to her.
That's what I'm talking about. Fly to Emirates. They give out tea, crumpets. What was that? In Turkish Delight. Is that
right?
So I'm being a nerd on that.
Let us know. Do y'all think
Turkish
that
Delight.
there's a lack of accountability with her saying like she deserved, basically expected the guy she wanted to talk about an apology or any reach out from the guy she was out there slanging her tongue with that's married, she's married too. She was saying that Coldplay did not reach out to her and say anything, and she felt like that was the least they can do. Drop some drip in the comments. Do y'all think this is a swerve on accountability? What y'all think?
That's some
Are you
trash.
surprised?
Why do
surprised?
I mean, I'm not. She been listening to their music too long. She thought she's a part of the band. But I will say Chris Martin did bring a lot of attention to her. She got a lot of attention, but at the end of the day, you got to sit in that. You sitting there in a lover's embrace. That's on you. And I don't think his young wife would appreciate him reaching out to her because we know how she get down.
Who?
Her.
Who's young wife?
Chris Martin.
I like where Joe was going with it. Joe knows history.
Well, speaking of Turkish Delight, why do they?
Yeah. Let's keep the history going. Constantinople. Where's Constantine in all of this? There we go. People know about Constantine? No? Oh, okay.
I like that movie.
Nah, we talking about that. Genghis Khan is basically whoever wins the wars gets to tell you where people live at and what you call it.
Right. Genghis Khan didn't give a damn. Love Genghis Khan. Love reading about him. That dude conquer an area, and he about to hit all of the wives. Everybody wife getting hit.
Speaking of
I'm
wives,
nobody's
getting hit,
bitch. You.
Speaking of being nobody's bitch, let's go ahead and get it to rewind and
Come on
rethink.
now. That was the one. That was a movie reference. My God.
Speaking of nobody's bitch, this lady right here ain't nobody's bitch. Listen to this. Rachel Dorn is 41 from DC. She got terminated after an IT flag revealed that she was simultaneously employed at 3 different jobs at the same time, ranking in the top 10% on all 3 jobs. She collected $347,000 in her combined salary. Drop some drip in the comments. Drop some drip in the comments. Y'all think she should have lost her job? Listen, she had her combined salary.
Hell no, she was doing. She in the top 10% of all 3. Don't be getting mad because you can't take her time. She took back her time. Shit, I can do all 3 of these at one time.
Listen to how she did it though. So sis had 3 monitors. Okay. So listen, she had 3 monitors. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. She had 3 different monitors, 3 different setups. Boom. She attended 14 Zoom meetings simultaneously by muting 2 and talking into 1. It's wild. Her coworkers described her as extremely present and focused.
No, don't be mad at somebody because they actually know how
under
to
pressure.
value their
This lady
time.
might be a serial killer, bro. Because listen, that's
No, she's not.
wild. I'm just saying she's got like A1. Her blood pressure is top tier.
What for? What she gotta be blood pressure for? Is
Shannon,
this something she can do in
listen.
her sleep? Shit.
Somebody with 3 jobs doing that the way she is, I don't think there's any pressure involved at all. She was locked the in. I don't know what she was trying to buy or what type of setup she was trying to have for herself in life, but she need to be in the C-suite. I can't wait there to be.
No, but
Come
this is
my
the main
way.
reason why people are moving towards the we want you to come into the office phase and everything because they just want to be able to have your time and have your personal time. We want to consume your hours and not with anybody else. So it turns it more into a power play than anything else. Am I producing what you need? Do you have any issues with what I'm producing? Or you just need me to sit in the damn seat so you feel better about the power dynamic that's going on here?
Right.
Nah, if I'm producing what you need, if I'm over here, I don't care if I got 4 or 5 computers and it's just me and I'm not outsourcing the material that I'm doing. Move out the way. Let me do what I'm doing. Because it's either that or you firing somebody for being a shitty employee after 6 months, 12 months, 14 months, 18 months, and then you gotta go and make sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's because such and such isn't producing. Get out of here.
She was getting to it.
She was getting to it, but here's what
There
they
you
don't
go.
talk about.
He said they hate her because they ain't her.
Yeah.
I
So
feel it.
look. So here's where they're gonna have legal grounds to basically.
Because everybody
terminate
can't
her.
do that.
A lot of people are unaware of some of the agreements that they signed, and one of the agreements that a lot of people sign is a non-compete and conflict of interest. Those are 2 agreements a lot of people sign. They don't even know that they signed. So a non-compete is a legal contract where an employee agrees not to work for a company for a competing business or start a competing business for a specific period after leaving their current employer. They often include limits based on time, geography, and job duties. It prevents them from increasing competition. They use this to protect trade secrets, client lists, or other confidential business information. So that's one way.
Let's be for real. How
they
they protecting trade secrets when everybody using the same AI tools? Everybody's using the same Microsoft tools. all of that is good for the gander at this point. There are no trade secrets. Everybody's giving their same information to the same 2 or 3 companies. There are no more trade secrets.
The problem is if you say, I used to work at
AI.
Mouse's Mouse USA, and I go to Mickey Mouse USA, shout out to Disney, and I say, well,
and they just do a layoff. I mean, do we need to shout?
Listen, I have to say that. Because I don't want them to come for me because they will. I forgot not to say their name. But Mouse's Mouse, I'd have to say, if I said Mouse's Mouse did XYZ, and so I can do that for you as well. That's where it becomes a trade secret because I'm telling you where I got it from and then the results from that. A lot of times there's that, like your knowledge of what you did somewhere is still their proprietary information and it's considered intellectual property a lot of times, too, depending. And that's what they try to sue people on. Non-competes are like, if you work in an industry, once again, like you can't work in an adjacent or similar industry. Also, what they get you is conflict of interest, where that's where she's also getting wrapped up. How you gonna be working at my job if you working at their job? That's basically what they're saying. So that she really got fired for those reasons, not necessarily because she did the job efficiently, but because how can you justify that you're doing the job that for me, like I hired you, if you ain't.
But
really,
if I'm in the top 10, then you
she's
still hire
she's in
me.
the top 10. It's kind of crazy.
If I'm in the top 10, then there's no non-compete. There's no conflict of interest because I worked in your interest.
There is a non-compete.
I worked in your interest.
You're still competing.
How can you determine which place she's competing with? Were they all in the same industry? Do
you know what?
that?
I guess it would also depend on what that contract says, because some contracts will say non-compete means that you cannot have another job if you work for me. So if you have
so the power dynamic. Yeah. Okay.
Well, think about a salaried employee. Right?
So how about this? You can't work in another job unless it's a service industry job. Because if you work at a bar, they say you can't work at another bar. You can't work at a bar in a movie theater. You can't work at a bar in a movie theater in a toy store.
It would depend on what that contract says. So I have seen a contract.
It depends on how much you're getting paid. So if you getting paid where I feel like your information,
if you have another job of anything, you must tell us, or you are subject to termination immediately. I have seen actual contracts that say that. So it depends on what the contract. So what I'm saying to bring light to this is that it's not the fact that she couldn't do the job great, but you got to read, as we talk about these employers are not loyal, right? Read what they're giving you to sign, because it's not created equally. And to understand what they're saying you have to do for this job and decide can you comply to that? Because if they were to come back to sue you, if it says that, technically, legally, you're bound, and I hope you have a great lawyer. Because
if you never knew
they do.
that I worked at a certain space, if it wasn't for social media or otherwise, why you got a hissy fit about it?
Them other two, one of them told the other ones. That's how that looked like to me. The one found out about it. They said, yeah, and then what they can do, message.
Well, you know what? Good for you then, because you lost somebody who's in the top 10% of your productivity gains. So you lost. Good
Would you like to know how, and just in case you're wondering, well, how did they know? Well, what they can do too is when you have a credit report, a lot of times when you get a new job, they report back to who you work for and when. So those companies, they had a hinge on that. They could be like, I feel like I saw her in another meeting. Let me go look it up. They could technically go pull whatever from that and check, kind of like a soft background check kind of thing. And it could tell them like some of that information. So that's also how people find out. That's how they find out. You're like, well, wait a minute. How all three of these at the same time? That's all. So shout out to her for being
still lost
efficient.
Your top 10% of your productivity gain. So I could see if it made sense to somebody who was on the lower 10%, not the top 10%. Fine. They're able to do that, and they're top. What you said? I need the extra 10% because they could be the top 1%. Oh, okay, cool.
Let's
Now
get
you
him
lost
out
all
of
the
here.
percent. Exactly. Just say that you want to fire somebody. Just say that you're trying to save headcount. Just
Y'all
say
drip in the
those
comments.
things versus whatever we talking about here. This is some bullshit.
Oh,
I don't care if you got
comments.
5
Let us
jobs.
know.
If out of the 5 jobs you top 10%, guess what? You got it, dog. I'm glad that you here because you in the top 10%. Cool.
Drop a drip in the comments. Let us know. You keeping her? She working 3 jobs like that, or you think she about to tear your business up? Let us know. All right, so let's go to our final part. That's the drip, y'all. We're gonna leave out with a little bit of that investment drip from the Wall Street Trapper. So let's go. Let's hear what little tip he got for us today.
Tomorrow, a lot of traders are going to get trapped. Not because they've made a bad trade, but because they didn't know what the day was. That's right. Tomorrow is S&P futures expiration. And when futures expire, trillions of dollars move. Trillions. With a T. And if you don't understand what that means for your positions, you need to watch this right now. So let's break down what's actually going to happen tomorrow. So institutions, hedge funds, market makers, they all have to make decisions on positions that they've been holding. The calls that they've been holding, they're either going to take profit or roll them over to the next expiration. The puts they've been holding, they're going to either take their losses or roll those over too. Now, here's where it gets really, really interesting for y'all. When you buy a call option, the market makers take the other side of that trade. That's their job. Protect themselves from risk, so they hedge. Now, they do the hedging by buying either stocks or futures. So those options expire tomorrow. Those hedges now have to be unwind. So the market makers who are buying the futures to hedge, now they got to sell. The market makers who are selling futures to hedge, now they got to buy. The second one I just talked about, that's called false buying. And false buying creates movements that have nothing to do with the actual stock value, nothing to do with fundamentals. Now, in case you don't know what a market maker is, let me break this down for you right quick.
All right. So right now he's getting into it. He's trying to give a little bit of a tip on the market. Drop some drip in the comments. Do you already know what he's getting to? Do you disagree with what he's saying? Let us know. Plain name and Cash Pay. Y'all got anything y'all want to add to that?
Now, right now, I'm gonna let him get into it and cook.
All right, let's go ahead and cook. All right.
Right quick, but this is important. Shout out my guy Peter Tuchman. So market makers are the reason why markets don't freeze up. Their entire job is to always keep liquidity in the market. They buying, they selling. They sell a stock they buy a stock at 100, they sell it at 105. That's 5 cents. That 5 cent might don't sound like nothing, but what they're doing 1,000,000 times a day, 5 cents becomes hundreds of millions of dollars. They don't win by being right or wrong. They win by volume and participation. That's called spread. Every single time. Now here's where tomorrow really matters. We saw a slight down market today, then a rally at the end of the day. Most people looked at that like a rally and thought, I see strength. The market wants to go higher. Maybe. Or that rally was a trap designed to catch greedy retailers, investors chasing that move to close. So that tomorrow when those expirations unwind, they have a fresh batch of liquidity. Long, sitting at highs. Look, I'm telling you, this is how they get us. They're going to hunt liquidity tomorrow. And retail investors are the most predictable source of free money. So third Fridays, always watch out for them because they're really, really dangerous. This is not a day to chase moves tomorrow. This is the day not to be greedy tomorrow. This is the day where you chill. Don't react. Let the expiration chaos go crazy. Sit on the side. Let the dust settle. By 11 o'clock, you'll know what's going on. Man, follow me for more understanding of the market. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper. Salute. Don't be liquidity tomorrow.
I like how you walking around this property. You got that big ass wrought iron gate going across the front. I like that.
Oh yeah.
But it's good because he's letting you know as a retail investor or somebody who's a single investor, right? You're not in the game like that. You're not somebody who's participating at that high level. Telling you to chill. because you need to understand certain segments in the market, or there's times in the market where you need to let things be instead of going in and chasing the bag, so to speak, where it's almost like gambling instead of understanding the predictability, the dates, and the history within the market. So I appreciate the information that he's providing to us retail investors. We're not institutional investors. We're all retail investors that are here.
I think Wall Street Trapper gives some different insights. Y'all know I follow the Master Investor as well. So sometimes we bring up Ian Dunlap with some of the stuff he has, but just wanted to give a little bit of drip as we get out of here this Friday night, y'all. It's real late night drip that y'all dripping with us. We very much appreciate it. And just wanted to make sure y'all have a little bit of information as the third Friday of the next month comes up. Might give you a little bit of strategy to look forward to and some lead time to look into. Will that work for you and what you got going on? That's all I got. Y'all got anything for the rest of the night? Y'all good?
All good on this side. I'm about to dive into my bed.
All right,
you was
I
done,
am
dog. You was over here messing up.
Listen, I've been up since 1 this Friday morning because I had to drive a place. It was a lot. It's been a lot.
Shout out to Plain Dane for sticking around for so long. I'm so sorry you had such a long day, but we're going to get out of here, y'all. We'll see y'all again next Friday. If you have not hit that like button, make sure you do it. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Tell 2 people you like and someone you don't. I'm Jim Jones, your co-host. Along with me is Cassius Pay in the background and Plain Dane over there.
In the building.
All right, y'all.
Have a happy Saturday, guys.
Drip, drop, our daily flow. Drip, drip. Gem and Dane, you already know. Drip, drop, watch the city glow. One more time, let's take it slow. Skyline kisses the moonlit tide. Cool breeze follows, take that